Here are questions number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When comparing pounds and ounces, I need to come over to our reference sheet and I'm going to find pounds and ounces, and I know that 1 pound equals 16 ounces. So if 1 pound equals 16 ounces, I can multiply by 16 or divide by 16 in order to get the missing numbers. Well, one of these is easy to see already. I'm going to work on this whole table as a group, not necessarily go in order. If 1 pound is 16 ounces, I already see the 16 ounces here, which means the 1 goes with the 16. Here is my unit. My unit is 16. So 16 basically is going to be my magic number. I'm going to multiply by 6 or I'm going to divide by 6. I'm sorry, 16. I'm going to multiply by 16 or I'm going to divide by 16. Let's see which one of these is a good one to fill in next. Well, I know 1 times 16 is 16. Here I have a 2. 2 pounds is going to give me how many ounces? Well, to figure that out, it's 2 times 16, which is 32. 2 times 16 is 32. So 2 pounds is the same as 32 ounces. Now, these numbers, the 80 and the 128, are the ounces. Those are the smaller units. I'm going to have to make them larger units. In order to do that, I have to divide. So I'm going to go ahead and continue with number 4 right here because it's a lot easier to do. So if my magic number is 16 and I do 4 times 16, that's going to tell me how many ounces are in 4 pounds. And that is 64. So now I'm left with how many pounds are there in 80 ounces, how many pounds are there in 128 ounces. This is the part that is 5th grade math that you are learning now. In order to figure out how many pounds are in 16 ounces, I need to divide. I need to divide 80 by 16. I see that 64 divided by 16 is 4. So I wonder if it would be 5. Let me try 5 times 16 and see what I get. Sure enough, there is my 80. So the number of pounds that make up 80 ounces is 5. Then I'm left with how many pounds make up 128 ounces. Well, that math is a little bit harder. But I already know that 5 times 16 is 80. If I double this 5, I double this 80. So 10 pounds would be 160 ounces. That's way too much. I need something between 5 and 10. Let me just take a guess at 8. Let's try 16 times 8 and see if we get the 128. This is backwards division. I'm multiplying to get my product. 6 times 8 is 48. 1 times 8 is 8, plus the 4 more. Hey, there it is, 128. So it is 8 pounds that make up 128 ounces. Let's move on to the next table. This table has yards and feet. That's an easy one to do because the numbers are small and it's a measurement that we have experience using. But looking at our conversions reference sheet, 1 yard equals 3 feet. So I come to my chart and I see that the 3 feet is already written here. I know that it is 1 yard that equals 3 feet. This number that I'm going to divide and multiply by is the number that goes with the unit. Unit is a 1. So for this table, I'm going to use the number 3. Remember, it's always the number that goes with the unit. 4 yards, well, I'm going from a large unit to a small unit. That means that I multiply when I go that way. 4 times 3, that's 12. 4 yards equals 12 feet. Let me go ahead and jump down to number 10. Again, my unit is 3. So if I have 10 threes, I have 30. 10 yards equals 30 feet. So this is the 4th grade section of this table. Now we have to go backwards. Now we have the small units, and we need to divide the small unit to get the larger unit. But we're still dividing by the number that goes with the unit, number 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 yards equal 15 feet. 10 yards equal 30 feet. 2 yards equal 6 feet. 4 yards equal 12 feet. And 1 yard equal 3 feet. Let's take a look at 11 through 15. Remember, stop this video and do it on your own if you understand how to do it. We've got minutes and hours. If I look at my chart, I can see minutes and hours are down here. This is the time conversion. So it takes 6 minutes, seconds, hour. This is the one I need. Minutes and hours. 60 minutes equal 1 hour. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. So let's come to the table and write that information in. I actually like to write it up here in the heading because it's easy for me to see and go back to it. 1 hour equals 60 minutes. Now, I'm noticing that this table has the measurements backwards. On table number 1, on the first table, and on the second table, I had the large measurement first and then the smaller one. Yards are larger than feet. But now here, it's a little different. I've got the minutes, which are smaller, and the hours are larger. I'm going to go ahead and just circle my hours so I know that these are larger units, because when you're in this, you sometimes lose a little bit of perspective. So 1 hour equals 60 minutes. This is, at first, may seem like a difficult number to multiply and divide, but remember that 0 can be taken away and added in the end. So let's start with the one that I already see here. I see my 60 minutes, and I know that 60 goes with 1 hour. Here's my unit. The unit is 1, goes with 60 minutes. So if I had 2 hours, my minutes would be 120. Now I'm noticing 2 is not here. I'm going to have to go ahead and do a little bit of calculations. I've got my 9. We're going this way. I'm sorry, let's go in order. 7 hours. I multiply by 60 to get my minutes. Well, 7 times 6 is 42, and bring down that 0. 7 hours is 420 minutes. Let's go and do the next 4th grade one when we multiply. 9 hours, well, 9 times 6 is 54, and then bring down that 0. 9 hours is 540 minutes. So I've done my multiplications. Now I need to do the division. I'm going to have to divide by 60 to get the answers for number 12 and for number 13. Dividing by 60 is not so complicated because we've done before where we can get rid of some of these zeros. So if I have 240 divided by 60, I can cross off a 0 here, cross off a 0 here, and I am left with the problem 24 divided by 6. And if we remember our multiplication facts, we know that the answer is 4. We're going to do the same thing for question number 13. I've got an 18 divided by a 6. 18 divided by 6 is 3. We can cross off the 2 zeros. These are the answers for the next chart for minutes and hours. Let's take a look at the chart for cups and pints. If I look at my reference sheet, I can see cups and pints right here. 1 pint equals 2 cups. That means pint is the larger unit because it takes 2 of these to make 1 of these. So 1 pint equals 2 cups. 1 pint equals 2 cups. Oh, let's see. If 1 pint equals 2 cups, that means that the number that I am going to be using is the 2 because this is the unit. 1 unit equals 2. So let's jump down to question number 17. If I have 5 pints times 2 cups each, that makes 10 cups. If I have 6 pints times 2 cups each, that gives me 12 cups. And if I have 4 pints times 2 cups each, that gives me 8. The 4th grade section has already been done. Let's move along to the division, which is the material for 5th grade. I multiplied to get the cups when I was given the pints. Now I need to do the inverse, which is the opposite, to get the pints. If I have 14 cups and I divide those by 2, I get 7 pints. If I have 4 cups and I divide it by 2, I'm going to get 2 pints. 14 cups equals 7 pints. 10 cups equal 5 pints. 12 cups equals 6 pints. 8 cups equal 4 pints, and 4 cups equal 2 pints.